Okay, good morning, everyone in Facebook Live and the Zoom meeting. Good morning, Mónica Rosas in Mexico. Thank you for giving part of your time on a Sunday morning. Thank you, Raj in Canada. Thank you, Ruben in Lima, Peru. Roxana in Lima, Peru. Sally in the USA. Araceli in Mexico. Jaxel in Mexico too. Judy in Germany. Santi, Gabriela, and my student, Daniela Casaverde, my student from Grammar 2. Thank you, Daniela, for being here. She's only 20 years old, so she's the youngest in the group. Today is the 29th of November. 3 more Sundays, and it will be Christmas. It will be a different Christmas. Okay, today we have Mónica Rosas from Mexico. So let me say a few words before we start. Okay, and as usual, I would like somebody to read this message about gratitude. Anyone, please?
I can do that.
Yeah, my dear friend
Gabriela, I think Gabriela wants to read. Yes.
Gabriela.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Gabriela, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you,
good morning,
Ruben.
everyone. Okay, but here's the DJ. Look for reasons to be grateful, even when you're struggling, taking time to give thanks for even the smallest blessings can help you appreciate the good things in your life. Thank you.
Agree or disagree? Anybody who disagrees?
No, I agree.
No.
No
Everyone
way.
agrees.
I
Oh,
agree.
Yes, everybody
yeah,
does.
I love this when you are struggling and the smallest blessings. There are so many small blessings, right? And the next one is for you, Ruben.
Happiness isn't about getting what you want all the time. It's about loving what you have and being grateful for it. No more.
Yes, simple, Ruben. Being loving what you have, the children you have, the life you have, the job we have, the salary we have, the face we have, the name we have. So there are many little things to be grateful about. Well, in our next international English meeting, we will have Glenda Gallardo from Peru. She will be talking about this very interesting topic, which I don't know anything about, Blackboard tools and activities to teach in English. And then Eugenia from Argentina, she'll be talking about what teachers learned to master during the pandemic and will definitely clean or clean?
Clean too.
Clean too, thank you. And then we will have a beautiful panel discussion in Peru. Everyone is invited if you don't live or you are not from Peru, but we will be talking about professionalizing English language teaching in Peru with these wonderful friends of mine and great professionals, Karina, Isabel, Leticia, Arturo, Julio Valladares, and Enrique Liñán. Well, I thought, Mónica, you were from Puebla, and I thought that Araceli, Leticia was also from Puebla. So I just, because I haven't met you face to face yet, Mónica, I went to Google, that knows everything, and I download this small video about Puebla.
Puebla, a place of amazing experiences.
Well, now I understand why you and your mother decided to live in Puebla. I will definitely go with Ruben in 1 or 2 years, right, Ruben?
Next year, next year.
Okay, so I'm going to save some pesos. So there are many things to say about Mónica. Mónica is the founder of Opalo, Language Education, Human Development and Consultancy. She worked as a full-time professor at the Deanery of Language and Culture Studies at UPAEP, which means Universidad
Popular Autónoma del Estado de Puebla.
Thank you very much. Where she was an associate professor and tutor for the BA in Languages, Teaching and Cultural Diversity, IED, for 9 years. She holds a BA in Modern Languages Teaching with a TESOL terminal from BUAP and an MA in Human Development and Education from UPAEP. She has taught English as a foreign language levels A1 to C1 to teenagers, young adults, and adults, and TESOL teacher training. She also has taught Spanish as a foreign language to international college students and adults levels A1 to C1 in different colleges and institutes in Mexico. She's a certified interpreter, English, Spanish, and Spanish-English from the IBERO Puebla, an academic reader, an online facilitator, and a national and international speaker. My goodness. She was vice president in MEXTESOL Puebla Chapter from 2014 to 2017 and holds a specialty in teaching Spanish and a foreign language from the UNAM. But the most important is that you are Araceli's daughter.
Exactly. So, you didn't have to read all that.
But I just wanted to do it. Thank you very much, Mónica, for your presentation today. And the screen is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jaime. And thank you everyone for being here. I really feel happy and very blessed of being here and sharing this morning with you. So let's see how this turns out. I'm a little bit nervous, but hopefully everything will turn out fine.
You are a human being, Mónica, so.
Exactly. And I actually want to speak about it. I actually want to speak about that. So, the most important thing about everything that Jaime read, thank you, Jaime, is, I belong to the UNAM. I teach Spanish for them. And this is my business, the one I was telling you about, that's Opalo, and that's actually the one that I want to be like emphasizing, because as I told you before, I want to be working with that for the next times. So the topic of this talk is the language classroom as a tool to boost human potential. And I actually put language classroom because I believe this can apply to all language classrooms, like teaching English or Spanish or French or whatever the language. But I will actually start talking about English, no? Because that's actually our specialty, teaching English. So this is my agenda for today, okay? So I want to be working especially on reflection, okay? So the first point that I want to discuss is being a teacher, okay? Then the specific role of the language teacher. And then I also want to make some reflection on teaching. What is teaching? What does that mean? And to especially focus on our students, okay? And I want to talk, I really want to make this as the big contribution to talk about wellness, okay? And finally, how teachers, professors in general, touch lives by empowering the students, but also by empowering ourselves. So I think that actually the two little quotes, little but really powerful quotes that you showed, Jaime, at the very beginning, they have to do a lot with this, okay? So I think that's something that we actually need to be I don't know, we need to keep it in mind all the time. So I am a teacher. That's my first thing, okay? These are the images that I found in Google. As Jaime says, Google knows everything. And I actually put language teacher, and this is the first image that appeared. I promise you, this one, okay? And then I got like so many different like ideas and many different things about language teachers or just the teaching profession. So my question for you is, okay, when we actually say, I am a teacher, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Does any of these like images come to your mind or not really?
Hero.
Okay, there you go.
My
So
students.
your students, okay, so you directly think of your students. Okay. I don't know, for me, it was really surprising that we actually got like so many different ideas because we always have a picture of who we are, you know, in our heads. And that's the first activity I want to do. I want to start this talk by an activity, okay? So the question is, as we were saying, the language teacher, okay? So my question is, what does it mean to be an English teacher? Based on these ideas that we just mentioned, okay? So I want to share with you, okay? I'm gonna put it here in the chat. I'm gonna share this link. And what I would like you to do is to open up the link. And the link is gonna show you 3 little like slots, okay? My question is, for you, when you think about your profession, okay? What does being a teacher, okay? What is being a teacher? That is my question. Can you just like put 3 words? If you have a problem with that, just let me know. Could you all open that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we can describe this. What is being a teacher? There we go. Okay. Let me show you this. This is what you are including. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Just for now, you can see in the screen, right? The cloud of words. So we have, for example, a coach. Yes, somebody who shares, a facilitator, sharing again. The word that appears bigger in this screen is the one that you have been repeating the most. So I would be saying then that facilitator and sharing, it's the one that appears the most. Facilitating again, somebody who's a contributor, a cheerleader, that's a good one. We have modeling, learning, okay, passion, that's really good, that's really nice, passion. And let's see, a hero, of course. Struggler, that's not a very good one, no, because I think that sometimes we don't want to pay lots of attention to that area, but we do struggle. Then we get something different. I think that's it, no? I would actually like keep these ones. So if you want to continue working on that, I'm gonna show you this at the end too, okay? Because I want to do one activity with this in the end. So that was the question, no? Like, who is a teacher? And you already have like this very clear idea of who a teacher is. And probably we are going to like feel more, I don't know, like we're gonna feel closer to one type of one specific certain person, no, or professor, because we have all developed already our styles. We have, all of you already have lots of experience in teaching. So I would say that you already know who a teacher is and what kind of teacher you are. But my question is, okay, what do we teach then? Because I put you there, an English teacher. Do you think that we only teach English? No. Okay. You said cheerleader, you said facilitator, you said a hero. So what else do we teach besides our language? Anyone?
May I, Monica?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Santi.
Yes, Santi.
Thank you.
Well, not only English, but we also, okay, teach different, okay, things, no? Like, for example, values, right? When they work in groups, how to share, how to cooperate, no? To respect one another, all right? So different things, not only English.
Exactly, yeah. And that is actually, thank you very much, Santi. That is actually my point. We not only teach English, no? Like inside our classrooms, we have so many things that we teach, and we actually teach based on everything that we are, no? This is the question that you already answered. So this is my point, okay? Probably many of you, might be nothing new for you, okay? I'm super sure you have reflected on this so many times. So the language classroom actually encourages argumentation, what Santi was saying, right? Critique, reasoning, and debating, okay? Just to name a few as I put you there. So we have like this super big advantage of being language professors, because it actually gives us the possibility to teach our students how to take care, let's say, of all these aspects of life, okay? And how to do that with values, how to do that with like respect, with the best of the intentions, because sometimes nowadays that is one of the biggest difficulties in life, no? Everybody's just having like these issues around the world with lots of problems of understanding, lots of problems of like how to get through your ideas and how to listen to the other. So this is one of the things that I would say the language classroom puts a lot of emphasis on. And this gives us one super big like thing, like element that I think that we need to be very careful about, okay? We can easily access our students' information, yes? And I would say that language classes actually make this more than many other classes, no? Probably more than the maths class or the physics class, or something different that is more theoretical, no? It gives us information about their ideas, about their thoughts. We usually learn about their fears, their dreams, and their problems, no? I'm sure that when you enter into a classroom, like in a classroom where you have like only new students, you don't know them at the beginning, but probably at the end of the week, you already know many things about their lives, no? And little by little, I don't know, like language teachers, we usually have like this feeling of noticing how the face of the student changes, no? Maybe we are already recognize when they are sad, when they are feeling angry, when they are feeling scared, when something is not right, no? So that's the reason that I would say that in language classroom, the most important thing is this, to create a rapport, to create a good atmosphere, because that's the only way in which students will feel good and confident, and they will actually want to speak and to share. And language classes are usually sharing classes. We share a lot about ourselves. So we need to be very careful, okay? Because we're going to learn lots of information about our students, okay? And as I was telling you, this gives us a lot of big opportunities for us. So we actually can encourage our students to bring their best, okay? And we're going to discuss this on how. So we can be probably the only person who knows, and probably this only person who understands about the dream of a person. We can be also the only person who actually motivates him or her to actually follow those ideas or those dreams. And the attitude that you actually take can also be a completely, I don't know, it can be a boost. It can be it can make a difference on how your student will see life, okay? And also it gives us this point, no? Like the other side of the coin. Sometimes we also learn about problems. And we also, I think that we need to be super, super careful on how to approach that. Sometimes because it is not our job. We like sometimes only like read or we understand or we listen to their problem and we just do nothing about it. But I would say that sometimes we need to actually intervene, okay? And this is something that we're going to discuss later on. So then teaching, now we're discussing teaching, okay? All these aspects that I showed you before are based on teaching. So what does teaching mean? You already mentioned, okay? It would be something that involves every dimension of our nature, okay? And this is something that we always need to be paying attention when we enter into a classroom or when we are into a Zoom meeting or in any experience of teaching. students obviously learn from our looks, from our perspectives, from our smile or lack of a smile, okay? Sometimes if we actually tell a story, and especially in language classrooms, we use lots of stories, okay? The way we speak, also the way we act, the way we treat them, or if we listen to them, or if we don't listen to them, okay? Also, the way we drive when leaving a school, or probably we just go walking, or we just stay there chatting or drinking coffee with our colleagues or something. So they actually learn from everything we are, okay? And I totally agree with what you say, okay? It is not only English what we are teaching living, okay? And this is something that is very clear in language classes. So I want to show you here, okay, a definition of teaching. I'm sorry, I wanted to see this because I didn't know if it was my next slide. Okay, so teaching is the process of attending to people's needs, experiences, and feelings, and intervening so they can learn particular things and they go beyond the giving. Okay, so if you notice, this is a definition I took from like this web page, okay, that's info.org. And I don't know if this would be probably the definition that we learned back in school, okay, when we were learning how to teach and we were learning to be professionals. But according to me, that is not the definition that I got, okay? That was not the definition that I got. And I think that this is probably a new form of looking at the process of teaching and our profession. So yes, we are facilitators, as you mentioned. Yes, we are people who help. Yes, we are, what did you say? Sharing, cheerleaders, coaches, modeling, okay? But yeah, we also struggle with this situation, okay? But based on, I would say that most of all, we are the ones who are in front of our students, and we are the ones who are actually, yeah, leading not only their learning process, but leading the classroom. And by leading the classroom, we obviously also see all these kind of attitudes, all these kinds of ideas that they have. And we do have this responsibility of paying attention to them. And I would say that, yes, language professors have always been doing that, okay? And that's something that I am very proud of, because all the time I discuss this topic with my colleagues, they always tell me, I always see my students, I always understand them, I always know how they act, who they are, I always know their names. We know that in some cases, like when you actually have like this huge class, not to talk about bad of anyone, right? But it's more difficult. And usually in language classes, we have like this idea of really working in groups, like sharing, asking for their opinions, no? And that's how we learn them. And I was telling you about interventions, okay? So these interventions usually take the form of questioning, okay? Really listening, giving information, probably explaining a phenomenon, okay? We sometimes in English classes or in language classes, we don't only focus, let's say, on the grammar. We also have to work on the reading. We also have to work on the speaking. And for that, we need a context, okay? And this context might take every dimension, every aspect, okay? Demonstrating a skill or a process, or testing and understanding a capacity, facilitating also learning activities, right? And I would say that if I ask you, I am super sure that you're gonna say, yes, we do all that, right? So this is something that I wanted to start with, so we can just pave the way to this like presentation. So this is what teaching is in my point of view, okay? So teaching would actually be helping, listening, attending to our students, okay? And not only teaching English or language, but also teaching every other aspect of our beings. If you have a question or you want to interview, you're more than welcome, okay? Absolutely. So,
Thank you, Monica.
Okay, because sometimes I do speak and speak. I know myself. Okay, So my point now is this, okay? Talking about that, okay? We are talking about our processes as teachers and the process of teaching. But now, what about the students? Somebody just told me some minutes ago, right? When I think of myself as a teacher, I think directly about my students, right? And I think that we all teachers do, right? Here in the screen, I just look for some images of myself teaching in all these aspects of like a student's life, okay? And if you notice, this goes along with what I was telling you, like teaching is not only teaching a language. Like teaching might be probably understanding. I asked this guy, what's going on with you? And he told me, teacher, I'm just so tired. I just really don't know what to do. And then he smiled and he was like, okay, I'm just tired, but I'm super happy and thank you for asking, right? Or for example, these guys, they just wanted to have like this birthday party for their friend. Like these students who were actually also learning, no, from culture, from different aspects, how to interact with others. And all the students actually have like so many things to share with us. And we are actually teaching them how to be, I don't know, I don't want to say good, but how to be people, right? Like how to act in society, how to, I don't know, probably like how to deal with problems, how to approach the others, how to work in teams, you were saying, how to care for the others, right? And many times that is something that because of the daily lives that we have and we are super busy, we just probably only like have this head of entering to the classroom and I have this class and then I have the other class and I have the other class because that's normal, because that's the way we live. We are very busy. But we need not to forget that those students are actually always learning from all the dimensions. And yeah, language actually gives you the possibility to do this, okay? Like in the language that you are actually talking, okay? The language that you're actually teaching. So this is my question, okay? Because I know I speak a lot, so I put a specific moments for you to help me so you don't just get to listen to my voice all the time. So I have two questions for you. These are also two of my students. What is the most remarkable experience that you have, that you actually had with a teacher? Do you remember any moment in your life when it actually changed your life? You with a teacher, you as the student. I am asking you that from this side of the coin in this moment, okay? You as a teacher, do you remember any experience with a professor or with a teacher who actually changed your mind that you still have in your head? Do you want to share? Does anyone want to share?
Well, this teacher not only changed my mind, but changed my life. I was like 20. I didn't know, and I couldn't get into university because of strikes in my public school. So I was 18, 19, and I was studying conversation classes. David Webb, that's his name, David Webb, and he asked me, Jaime, would you like to teach English? I'm talking about 1981, 1982. And I said, yes, of course. And then I started working as a teacher without any degree, without any pedagogical studies, without any training, without anything. But he did change my ideas, my thought, my life. And I always remember him. And I always remember him. So you were asking, what is a teacher? I don't think that we teach. We both learn. Now, it's a, you give, they give, you receive, they give, you teach, they teach you. So we must be open. So
exactly. No, thank you, Jaime. Thank you. So there you have an example of that. Okay. Does anyone else want to share something? Okay.
Okay, me?
And thank you, Santi.
Okay, I had a similar experience, okay, as Jaime had, but my experience was when I was at high school, and it was my English teacher. I had a bad experience with a history teacher because I love participating, yeah, and one day I participated and my answer was incorrect, and the teacher the history teacher told me, okay, Santi, sorry, your answer is not good, so sit down. Oh my God, I felt awful, really awful. So from that day on, I didn't participate. But when this new teacher, English teacher, came to my high school, she changed my life. She helped me a lot. So that was the moment when I realized, okay, I plan to be a teacher, an English teacher. Yes. And I study English at the same institute I'm working for now. And I started teaching there, okay, without any degree. After 3 years teaching, I went to the university. Then I got my degree there and I'm still, okay, teaching. I love teaching. Thank you.
No, thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your experience and notice how these experiences actually moved us. No, like Santi is telling us about her experience in this moment with lots of feelings, and I actually feel that, and I'm super sure that probably the others, like all the other people who are listening to her, also feel that, and it's because of that. Like being a teacher is so powerful that can actually change somebody's life. Okay.
Yes, Monica, and sorry to interrupt you, but sometimes, okay, a person has the feeling inside, but there something happens that makes you, okay, my God, this is my life, this is my future, and I have passion for teaching. Yes, I have passion. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the real.
And we can tell that. And I would say that most of us who are really convinced on being teachers, we do it with passion. And I think that's something that we always need to be like, I don't know, like putting in the front, no? Like this is what I do because I really love it and I understand all the consequences. And as I was planning this little talk, I was just thinking, okay, yes, we know lots of pedagogical things. We absolutely have to be updated. We absolutely need to know what we are doing. But we also need to remember that we are like the most probably powerful, like being in the moment of teaching, because our students are actually looking at us. As I was telling you, it's nothing that we don't know, but sometimes we just forget because we are so busy in our teaching lives. But I would say that that is something that we always need to keep in mind. Okay, for example, this student, I will share something with you. Like this student, she was my student for a long time, and the reason why she was my student was because she was only missing to pass English for to graduate from the university, and she just couldn't and she couldn't because of something that is very related to what you say. Like somebody told her that she was never going to learn English, and she was so sad, and she was like completely blocked, and she was like she came to me like just for like tutoring, because I was a tutor at the university, and I spent with her probably like for the first 3 classes just talking to her, listening to her drama, listening to why she could not learn English and convincing her that she could. And then from there we could actually learn learn something. Like I learned that yes, she could change her ideas. Like she's honestly and I have told her, so I'm not gonna tell anything bad about her that I haven't told her. Like I know you're never gonna be like a super expert in English, but I know she doesn't really care of becoming a proficient English speaker. I know that she cares about understanding, and I know that she cares about reading. And this presentation that she gave, like she did that in English and she did that in Spanish. So it was something that for her actually changed her life. And I would say that that is something that sometimes we, because we are in the class, we cannot pay attention to each individual students, but we need to make sure that at least we touch them with something little. This student, he just, like in pandemic times, he just decided to send this picture to all his teachers. And for he was like saying, well, because it was May 15. I don't know if you celebrate Teachers' Day in the same day that we do, May 15.
No, July the 6th.
Okay, in Mexico, 15 de septiembre, 15 de mayo, perdón, May 15, septiembre, I'm lost in the world. We celebrate that day. So he did this and he was like, I know that you're far away, but I really wanna show you that I love you. And I really want to show you that I appreciate that. And if you notice, even these little things actually make a whole change, not only for him, but for us too. So this is my idea now, okay? So I have been talking about how our profession actually touches people's lives, okay? And I think that this is probably one of the things that we can use to like deal or to shape, okay, our classes too, okay? And they will also help us to reach more students. In wellness, we have 8 dimensions, okay? Some people actually have more, but these authors, the ones that are probably the most known, okay, in wellness, they speak about 8 dimensions. The first one would be emotional dimension, okay? And these ones talk about a human being, okay, in general. They are not only talking about the students or teachers, people, even people who are not teachers or students. The ability to navigate through the ups and downs of life and understand one's emotions and to regulate them. We also have the physical dimension that will be the ability to meet the body, needs for exercise, food, sleep, energy, and the activities that we do, okay? Like being able to drink some water, to walk, to sit, okay? You know that sometimes if you especially have dealt with people who have like a disability, this actually takes more like focus, no? Financial, the ability to manage personal wealth and take decisions on money matters. Environmental things, so to appreciate and be responsible to one's nature and surroundings, the community. Occupational, that would be to satisfy, okay, from one's work and the balance to work with other areas of our lives. We have social, the ability to interact and relate to other people and for meaningful relationships. The intellectual one, that would be to understand one's ability and use the capabilities that we have to expand and to develop our strengths. Spiritual, okay, that would be the ability to find meaning in life, okay? To have that life that we are living in alignment with our values and our beliefs, okay? So if you notice, this is not really like a religion thing. It's actually like the way that we see life and the way that we will be able to transcend. So I have a question, okay? Again, I am the one with the question, okay? So these topics, the areas or the 8 dimensions of wellness, are they something that we can speak about in a language class?
I guess yes. Let me read what something wrote in Facebook Live Messenger. Heli Esmeralda Mendoza from Peru. She said that because she was always afraid of teaching in a school, her methodological teacher in the university told her to go to the swimming pool so she could learn not to be afraid of doing something she was afraid of.
Exactly, and that is because it connects, everything connects. Like you can learn something, like in the case of this person, you can learn not to be afraid of doing something by doing another thing. So it doesn't have to be everything inside the classroom. That is true. That is absolutely true. That is really nice. Thank you. So I want you to think, okay? Like think of your textbook. Does it mention something about environment? Have you ever talked about the environment in your classes? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Have you talked about like how to deal with money or how you spend your money?
Yes.
Yes. What about our physical characteristics? What sports do you like to practice? No?
Yes.
What do you like to do? Do you exercise daily? No? What about this one? Occupational. What do you want to do in the future if you are working with teenagers? No? Or how was your job? How is your job? What are the characteristics that you need, no, in your job? Or what do you want to do in the future? Intellectual. What do you want to learn? No? What do you like reading? Okay. So in general, all these aspects, all these 8 dimensions of like a person of wellness, okay, they can be talked about and they can be mentioned in the class, okay? These are the specific questions, okay? These are some specific questions so we can understand this, okay? Like probably more in depth. Physical. Do I eat a balanced or nutritional diet? Do I exercise at least 3 times a week? Okay. Look at those questions, okay? Am I in a healthy weight for my height? Do I have a budget? Do I save money? Am I using my money wisely? Okay. What about intellectual? Do I strive to learn new things? Do I exercise with my brain? Okay. Do I have positive thoughts? What about that one? Do I learn new skills? In occupational, I do have, what task at work do you enjoy? Which ones do you dislike at school or probably at work? How do you communicate with your colleagues? What about the future? To set realistic goals. We always talk about the future in classes, no? With your goals. Occupational, what tasks at work or school do you enjoy? Which ones do you dislike also? Have you set realistic career goals? Are you making a progress? Okay. There I get, let me move our camera. Am I able to express and communicate my feelings? Do I have control over my emotions? Am I independent? Am I emotionally stable? I once actually like had this really, really dramatic situation with a student because I actually asked, what has been the most like dangerous or the most, what did I ask? What was the most like amazing or I wanted them to ask, to tell me something about something that had actually changed their lives, but emotionally. And this person in a text, she actually described like all a really big problem, okay, of her like being emotionally unstable. And she actually confessed that she was feeling really bad and she was actually feeling suicide thoughts. Imagine that. So, and then I actually thought, no, like, what am I gonna do with this? Will I only grade it and just give it back? This is what I was telling you, right? Like we need to decide on how to approach them. And of course, I knew this was something out of my hands, but I needed to do something, no? So in those areas, like all these aspects are things that we actually can learn from our students, and we can do that through the language class. Social, can I resolve conflicts from all areas in my life? Okay, am I receptive to people's feelings? How do I have a sense of belonging? And in spiritual, that sometimes we don't really want to talk a lot about it, but notice how it doesn't have to be something religious. Do I have a sense of meaning and a purpose of life? Do I trust other people? Am I able to forgive myself and other people? Do I have values and beliefs? Okay, and do I have a feeling of inner peace, which is really important? So all these elements, I was asking you, okay, all these elements, all these topics are things that we can actually discuss in class. And we have that big, big, big power, okay? I'm gonna show you, let me change the screen. I'm gonna show you like the wheel of wellness. And this is taken exactly from what we are discussing. And this is probably something that you can also do in class. to be able to help your students and to be able to see and probably make them only reflect, because by reflecting on our lives, we do a lot, okay? And we have that possibility. Like you have all the aspects that we only mentioned, okay? The aspects that we just mentioned. And the point in the wheel of wellness is to determine how will I rank myself in each of the aspects, okay? For example, I am very unhappy with this part of my life. That's the number one. Yes, number one. I am unhappy with this part of my life, but I haven't hit rock bottom. I'm okay still. I'm still okay. Especially now in pandemic times, maybe it would be a good time to reflect. This part of my life is pretty good, but I could still use some improvement. That's the number three. I am content with this part of my life, but I can see a few tweaks that would make it even better. That would be the number four. And finally, number five, I am completely happy and fulfilled with this part of my life. There is no room for improvement. It's perfect. Okay, that would be the number five. Okay, and probably it would be a good idea. I don't know, it depends obviously on your class, no? Of course, in a super basic class, you will not be able to do this, but if you have like this conversational class, or if you have like something more advanced, maybe it could be something that you can discuss as a whole. But maybe you can also break it out, and maybe you can use some of the little aspects with the questions that we show, okay? With the questions that we were just checking from before. And the point here is just to make your students reflect, and maybe you will find a way to empower them, which is very likely, okay? That is super, very likely. For example, here, I just browse. I like Jaime saying that Google knows everything, because it does know everything. So what I did was just to put in Google, okay? And Google knows everything, and I put table of content. And I have two books. And these books, notice, these are books to teach English, EFL books. Personality development, that is the first unit. Wit and humor, human relations, films and theater, social issues, biodiversity, nation and diversity, and human rights. Notice how good they are. Like, and I actually did what I told you at the very beginning with the language teacher that was there like in a very old chalkboard. Passions, spending habits, career paths, talents, technology, and challenges. And I am sure that if you look at your textbook, probably you're gonna find something similar. And sometimes when we are super stressed out because we need to fill the syllabus, or because we don't know what to do, sometimes we just like ignore the topics. And I say that based on my experience. Of course, I don't want to say that we all do that. Okay, maybe I am the only one who does that. But sometimes we just ignore the topics, and sometimes I just go directly into the grammar point. Sometimes I just say, oh, this is simple present. Oh, this is present with frequency adverbs. So that's what we need to talk about. And I would say, well, use that to actually find out something about your students and to make them improve, not only as language professionals or as language students, because probably some of them are only learning English because that's their school requirement, but probably you do have students who want to be teachers in the future. I don't know, it depends on your reality. But I would say, like really give them something that makes them reflect, that makes them think, that makes them change their lives, as some professors have actually changed your life, okay? And if you find something wrong, like as I was telling you, maybe make a decision. We cannot solve everything because we are not like, we are heroes, but we are not like professionals in every aspect. So we need to just give those things to probably like a person who is more professional into those aspects. But if you notice this, and if you go back to this, you're gonna notice that it's exactly the same idea. So I would say probably instead of only, I'm not saying not all the time, okay, like all the time do this, but probably instead of talking about, I don't know, Michael Jackson's life, or talking about something that is nothing very like in depth, like sometimes just touch these points with your students, because you can make them reflect, you can make them think, and you can make them like be aware of what they are doing with their lives outside the class. So, does anyone want to comment something here or?
Anybody, please?
Okay, almost done, almost done. We have.
I remember something when I was in this great program in Costa Rica with Mary Scholl and Raj Gill. I remember that Mary used to tell us, first of all, when you start a class, you need to make community. You need to make a family. The students and you are a family. Respect, love, empathy, everything that human relationships involve. And that is true. And that is
Yes, that is true. And I really think that especially in language classes, that is one of the most important things, if not the most important. Because students will not want to participate, students will not want to share, students will not want to speak if they don't feel part of that community, like especially language classes. I do remember, for example, being in, I'm saying in high school, like for example, in these classes where the teacher only spoke and spoke, and probably the topic was not interesting for me. Let's say, I don't know, mathematics. And probably the teacher was not asking me about my life, of course, because of course was not part of the topic or something. But I do remember my English professors all the time telling me and asking me about my life. And I do remember sharing with them so many things that probably I wouldn't share with another teacher, no? So, and it's because the class, like the type of class that we teach has that power, has that possibility. So I really believe that we need to be aware of that because it's really powerful and it's really, really important. And I don't know, like use that power that we have to help students and to empower them. So that's the reason that I really believe that it's really important to reflect on this. And this has to do with what we are saying, okay? So touching lives, okay? We have been talking about touching lives. So of course, only a teacher knows, okay, about the difficulties hidden behind the teaching profession. Somebody in the brainstorming, no, in the cloud of words, you put struggling. I don't remember exactly the exact words. You put a struggler, okay, struggler. So yes, we do struggle, okay, but I would say that we do struggle, but we like the struggle sometimes, no? Because we know that it has a purpose. It has a purpose and it's actually gonna touch somebody. And our job, it's gonna be there forever. Okay, probably in the mind of a person that sometimes we don't even know that we changed their lives, but we did. But only a teacher knows the joy and the rewards that it offers back. And I found this quote that is really beautiful. Okay, if you have like this Facebook account, you can look for this man, Robert John. Okay, Middle. He's a professor. He's a language professor, but he's also a psychologist, and he wrote like many quotes because he also like writes poems and all that, and he has lots of beautiful quotes. But I think this is one that actually applies in this situation. So as teachers, we have the ability to rebuild the world for our students. By our sincere effort, we can make their world more rewarding, more gratifying, and perhaps even more significant. This is beautiful, right? It actually rings like, I don't know, like it rings some of our hearts. And finally, okay, last points in the agenda, okay? So Jaime, I'm in good timing, right?
Perfect timing.
Okay, perfect timing. I'm checking my time and everything. Okay, so I want to share with you, okay? I want to share with you. And I'm gonna show you some of my students. I like to show my students all the time, and students sometimes tell me, teacher, it's kind of scary that you have so many pictures of us. And I always tell them, well, yeah, because I like you and I like what you're doing, and I will show you all the time that you are doing something important. But in this one, I also have, I think that my friend Judy, she also joined our presentation, and I wanted to steal some of her pictures because I think it was something really beautiful that she did. Look, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to tell you a super quick in 30 seconds idea of what these students are doing. This student, this one, the DJ, he was my student in English class, and he was actually studying the university, and he was studying something for cars, like something about automobile engineering or something like that. But he said, I'm studying this because my father told me to do that, but I don't want to. I want to be a DJ. And he was like, I really want to be a DJ. I really want to be a DJ. I really want to be a DJ. And I think that I was the only person who actually, like, he told this about. And I all the time told him, well, just do that too. Like, you can do both. If it's something that you really love, do it. And look, now he is my Facebook friend, and now he's also a DJ. And he's been telling me to go and to go and to go. And but I do tell him, well, I'm sorry, I'm too old for this, but I'm super happy for you. So he just shows me and shows me and shows me all his ideas. And he's done it, and he's doing that. These students, they are one of my two very nice and beloved students. Like, they were super scared of speaking in public. Like, these two, especially this guy, he almost cried when I made him speak, like, for me the first times. And look, they finally just got, and they were speakers in MEXTESOL. So they were super proud about it. And they both have told me, like, thank you, teacher, because otherwise we wouldn't have done it. And I think this has to do with what I was telling you before. This is one of the most rewarding experiences. And I think that that is something that probably is the best about our teaching profession. This student, Alice, she was also super scared. And she, even like probably like 3 weeks ago or something, we were chatting because she decided to start teaching Spanish. And she finally decided to upload all her documents into this platform for like speaking, teaching Spanish. And I've been helping her, but she's so happy. And look at this. She looks like so professional in her review, that I just felt so proud about it. And I think that she has also decided like to take this path. And I think that's something that has changed her life. And this one is the one that I was telling you, my friend Judy, like she showed me, she works in Colegio Esparza here in Puebla. And she showed me once her pictures, because she actually won also some award for being a good teacher, like changing lives teacher. And I think that her labor is super important, because these students are like giving plays, okay? And they do that. I don't know if they do that in English or in Spanish. I don't know if you are there and you're listening to us and you want to share, okay? Because I saw you entering. But I guess that this is something that definitely empowers her students, okay? It's like you can do it. It's not only something that you, I don't know, see in the distance. You can always do what you decide to do, even though it's not part of our English class, let's say. But we do have that possibility. So I don't know, this is really, this is probably one of the most important things. So Judy, you are not there, right? I saw her entering, but that's okay. Okay, so finally, last sharing stop, okay? Last sharing stop. Okay, so now that we are thinking about all these experiences that we have, okay, with our teachers, now this time I'm closing with the other side, okay? What about you as a professor? I already showed you some of my students, okay? Do you remember, do you want to share, okay, any one really rewarding experience that you have lived with a student, okay? That a student has told you, teacher, thank you for helping me doing this. Or a rewarding experience with yourself as a teacher that you treasure. Sometimes we do that, no? And sometimes you say, oh, did I really do that? Like, how did I do that? Or how could I do, how could I make this student change these ideas or these perspectives? Or how, are you sure? Like sometimes I tell my students, are you sure you're talking about me? I don't think so. Okay, so I don't know if anyone wants to share any experience.
Anybody in the audience, please?
Yeah, sure. I will share.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I was, Jaime just shared that about being in Costa Rica, where Mary Scholl would start the classroom with community building exercise, is how to get to know not just the subject matter, not just the teacher, but also the fellow, your classmates, people who are learning with you, and the value of community, the value of connection before direction was modeled and experienced. So I have pleasant memories of learning with people from different parts of Latin America, how to learn together and support each other, and also be supported by the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you.
And I think that's what you're showing us, is that there's value in supporting each other as well as being supported by the teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's just as Jaime said, no, we are teaching, but we're also learning. And we are learning and teaching not only about our subject, but about many other aspects in life, okay? And I will really not get tired of saying that this is a really wonderful opportunity that language teachers have. Absolutely. So, are language teachers and language classrooms tools to boost human potential? I would say
Definitely.
yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Okay. So we really need to take advantage of that. We really need to take advantage of that. And I would say, like, let's, yes, spend time obviously teaching the grammar, which is the important thing. Also teaching reading, teaching all these things, but also let's not forget that we are really working with students. And that even ourselves, no, like we are human beings and we are always in constant development. We are always learning. We learn from even things that we don't want to learn. No, we learn like the good and the bad. So we should always remember that. And of course, yes.
No, please go on.
No, Jaime, tell me.
At the beginning of your presentation, you said, I'm nervous. And I told you, you're a human being.
Mm-hmm.
I've given, I don't remember how many and where conferences, but I always feel nervous because I can't forget I'm a human being. And it's not good to hide your feelings. I told the audience, I'm nervous. How do you feel? I'm okay. Well, I'm nervous. But I said, but why? Because I'm a human being.
Exactly. Yes, and we all need to accept all the aspects of our humanity. Like not because I'm a professional, and I'm not saying I'm not, but not because I'm a professional, I will be like super happy at the beginning of a talk and without any stress or without any feeling of nervousness, no? Or I don't know if it happens to you, but for me, like when I entered into a new classroom, I'm stressed. And I don't know what is, I don't know, like, because I don't know the students, I don't really know how they would react. And I have lots of experience, okay? But still, when I entered into a new classroom, I'm stressed and I'm nervous. If I have to give a talk in front of an audience, I am, okay? It's just the same thing as, I don't know, like doing any other thing, you know, in our lives. I don't know, probably if you are a very good cook, no, but this time you're gonna cook for somebody who's really important or special for you. Yeah, I'm sure you're thinking like, I hope this really works out the way it worked before, because I've told this person so many times I'm a super good cook, and let's imagine that something bad happens. I don't know. So we should not forget all the aspects of our lives. Okay, we're all human beings. Yes, right. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to add to what you're saying, Monica, is because I think when we name what is going on for us and we humanize the experience, you know, and that we create a culture that it's okay to be experiencing some feelings, it's okay to be human in the classroom. And that's the culture we model, the culture we create for the students. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I would say that also, like, bearing in mind that we are all human beings, it also like takes a lot of power when we are working with people who also come from other cultures, because sometimes we might do something that is not appropriate for them, or something. So we all should be open to all these kind of ideas and experiences, and tell our students that, you know, from the very beginning, like, I don't know, like, this is a classroom, like, this is our classroom. You just feel free, but just remember that we are in community, because absolutely we need to keep in mind that we are in community, and we need to feel free that about like saying or doing what we as people are and do. But we also need to remember that we are in community, so we do need to follow certain rules. That's the other thing. Okay, and then just to finish, okay? So of course, teachers have a super like difficult profession, okay? And we all know that. Like, teaching is not easy at all. Teaching is really difficult, and teaching requires lots and lots and lots of things, okay? So I wanted to put something, okay? But I want you to help me just putting probably some other aspects or elements. So teachers need to be good with themselves in order to set an example. So that's something that is really important for ourselves, okay? If we are, I don't know, if we are having trouble, if we are stressed, if we are really angry with something, with somebody, okay? I don't know, like that would be something that we need to work on, okay? Because our students will learn from that too. So we need to work on them, on ourselves. I put themselves, okay? But I want to say ourselves in all human dimensions, okay? I show you the 8 ones of well-being, but I don't know, it also depends on how you feel. I told you, like, if you actually want to Google that, because Google knows everything, you will find that there are many other dimensions, but I like choosing these 8. Share knowledge as well as the person that they are, okay? So we are not only sharing our knowledge of language, we are also sharing who we are, and we need to be aware of that. And we need to be willing to grow constantly in all the areas of our lives, okay? Because obviously that will also show our students who we are, and that will also show the students that they do have all the possibilities of growing and becoming what they want to be. Do you happen to think of a different thing to include? I'm sure.
Teachers need to be resilient.
There you go. Resilient. Thank you. Thank you, Ruben.
Could you explain, Ruben?
Sure, because I put the word struggler, and that has to do with this word, to face difficult situations, to get the most positive things of difficult situations.
Thank you, Ruben.
Well, can I participate?
Please,
yes, Judy. Yeah, now you are there.
Well, hello everybody. I'm Judith Marin Cenizo. I'm the teacher who sent some pictures about my job. Well, I started working in the kindergarten in the Esparza College as an English teacher, just with little children. But once I had the opportunity to go to the secondary school and try to do something different. Well, I chose something really different for me in that moment. And I think that everybody should try different things, try different areas. I have never learned, I have never seen something about the theater, about plays, and I choose to do it because I think the students want to explore new areas. And I invite you to explore your new areas, to do something different. I was really happy to see the results because all the play was played in English, and I had students from 3 levels in basic level, intermediate level, and advanced level. And it was a really incredible experience because many of them didn't know how to speak English or how to act, how to speak in public. However, they developed a lot of strategies to learn how to do it, and it was a really amazing result. So that's my participation. Explore new areas.
Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. And I honestly, I was really, really like happy and surprised about looking at your job. I was really pleased because I thought, okay, I actually had this idea, but I never asked you, like, did they speak in English during the play? And then they did. And I guess they were, as you say, they were struggling, but then they did it. And I'm sure this is something that they will remember all their lives.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. They also danced. They performed completely in English, everything in English. Mm-hmm. And even the most important person in the play didn't know anything about English. So it was amazing how he could express himself and how he learned, and the confidence that he got was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So there we have the explore new things, like dare to try. Of course, these students, they will, I don't know, they actually learn something more than English, no, through that experience. Any other one? Do we add something different? Does anyone want to say something different? Okay.
Sally, maybe? Yeah, Sally, go on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this kind of dovetails with what Judy said about exploring new things, but also working on themselves in all human dimensions. Mm-hmm. At the university I taught at for many years, we had to give students forms to evaluate us at the end of each semester. And I would get, I'd get positive comments, but one thing that students often said was I was too serious. So I made it a goal to try to look into how to lighten or add some humor to my classes. I'm still working on it. It's not that easy, but as a result, I ended up giving some presentations on that using humor, but I'm still working on it. But again, it was something that students pointed out, and I thought, well, if they think I'm too serious, then try to lighten up. So the exploring new things was using working on myself was trying to find some ways to bring humor in, and then exploring new things was actually trying to make some of the things I was doing in class have a touch of humor. And so I think that goes along with this.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that, because you brought to the table like this other point. Like we are learning from other students, but we are also learning, I don't know, about ourselves, no? Like if there is this comment that repeats and repeats and repeats, I would say like, yeah, we need to look at that, because sometimes we don't do that with ourselves, no? And our students are looking in us something that we don't see in us many times.
Right.
Many times we might believe that we are like the best teachers of the world, and we are probably, I don't know, I don't know, the most attentive, or probably the most I don't know, like the most patient or something, and they think differently. And probably if there is one, probably you would say, well, yeah, he really believes that, and that's his idea. But what happens if that comment appears and appears and appears? That actually makes us reflect, no? And I think that we need to be willing to take those comments and just like at least have them in head, so we can decide if we will do something about it, or maybe, I don't know, maybe we absolutely don't agree. But I would say that if it is a topic that repeats and repeats and repeats, I would say, yeah, we need to work on that. I don't know how to put that. I would say working all in themselves, in ourselves, as all aspects, and our students. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so this is everything. So thank you. Thank you, Jaime. You see, almost.
Yeah,
So,
could you, if you're done, could you please stop? Because you are the host now. Can I be the host again?
yes, you can be, and I didn't do the
The break
thing,
room.
okay? Exactly. I wanted to do it, but then we just started talking, and
Well, it'll be in January or February when
exactly.
we
I will do that later. I
start.
said, I said,
Make a comment about what Sally was saying.
Please, Raj. Please,
Yeah.
Raj.
Well, I think when Sally was saying you're too serious, then, but if we say that to the students, we expect them to change. So if the student says that to us, then we are also expected to change. So I'm appreciating that you were saying that if that was a comment you received, you're wanting to work on that. And how students perceive us. It doesn't mean that's who we are, but that's how the student is perceiving us.
that's true.
Isabel Vargas wants to participate. Sorry, Monica. Isabel Vargas.
There she is.
Your microphone, Isabel.
I'm not good at technology. Okay, well, first I would like to congratulate Monica because it was a very important presentation. And also I would like to add something else about the question that you asked before. I think as the teachers, we also have to show our students that we are also human beings, that we can have our own failures. We are not perfect, because I think it happens when they want to participate, they feel afraid. Maybe my classmates are going to do some bullying, okay? So they feel afraid to participate. So if maybe they're going to have mistakes, okay? I don't want to have mistakes. But when they have mistakes, in quotations, I always tell them that it's a process, it's a process for learning. Yes, and also not only in the class, also in our life. You have to face obstacles in our life, and also we can have also failures in our life, but that problem or that situation is not going to be something that will stop. You should, we say, we should stand up, okay, and we should continue, because life is not easy. Sometimes they think, okay, that sometimes they think, not always, that life is very easy, okay. But I think this coronavirus. Also, for example, I teach the 5th grade. And they also, I mean, all of the students in primary, secondary, all of us, and also all of them have affected this situation. Okay, because because we have to change a lot of things in our life, but also promotion, because they thought that, oh, it's going to be our last year. We're going to share moments with our teachers, our classmates. No? So they also feel, no? They feel, oh, we lost that. No? We lost that opportunity because we had our last year, okay, at school. So it's very sad. No? They feel very sad for that. But also, I always tell them that this is an opportunity to feel stronger. That is to realize and reflect that life is not easy as they used to think. And I think for this problem, in quotation, this problem that we have about health problem, they have reflected, and they are going to face, I mean, their life, the obstacles and news next year and on with more strength and also with another view of life.
Thank you, Isabel. Sorry, Monica, my 20-year-old Grammar 2 student, Daniela Casaverde, wants to talk. Daniela?
Okay. Well, I also want to congratulate you on your presentation. I'm impressed by the work that everyone here does, including my teacher, Jaime, of course. So I just wanted to share that it has reminded me of one of my English classes at school. And now I kind of understand why it's that I felt it was time for English classes. It was like walking through a door and participating in a completely different environment than the other classes. So I have always felt that the most important part of these classes was how the teachers made us feel. So it felt like we were a big family, and that was what prompted me to be also be part of this. And now I'm starting to be able to reach that goal, and be a good English teacher. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. You see, Monica, that's why I told you, we are not teaching, we are learning. You see how beautiful she speaks? It's not because of me, but it's because of her, because she wants to do it that way. Thank you very much, Daniela. Anybody else? We got still 5 more minutes.
Well, I do want to say something regarding what Isabel was saying, and I think that the way that we can actually also teach our students to learn from this experience of coronavirus and everything, it's also to show them the way that we are also taking the situation and the way that we act in front of this situation. So your students will also learn from you in the way that you react. And I think that's something that is really beautiful, because now you are already taking that as a step. I mean, you already saw it as a way of showing them change, but change for good, no? And I think that's something that you can, because it seems that you have already really reflected and thought of that. So I think you should take advantage of that in classes. So you make them aware of that and how you are taking that problem, because they will learn from that, and they will learn from that attitude that you have towards the problem.
Some final ideas, Monica. I don't know if you agree or disagree, everyone who is here and in Facebook Live, about being evaluated by students. At the university where I work, at the end of every semester, we are given in a yellow envelope the final result of our students' evaluation, which includes if we did if we did that, and some comments. They have never told me about if I'm serious or not, but there must, but for sure there is something that I'm doing wrong, for sure, because if we evaluate students through the whole semester, they should have the same right to evaluate our job, our work. Then to be willing to grow, yes, people who are here every Sunday morning is because we are willing to grow. Connection before direction, yes, that's very important. Supporting each other, that is what we are doing, supporting each other, and work on all human dimensions. Yes, not only, if you pay attention to every single webinar in Facebook, everything has to do with this and that, but not so many about this dimension, the human side, the human dark side of human beings. And the most beautiful, explore new areas, explore new areas. And that's what we will try to do next year. We will invite students from different countries and to let them speak, just like Daniela said. Listen to their opinions, listen to their points of view, because this is what we think, but we don't know what they think about our personalities, our look, everything else. 2 more minutes and finish, please, Monica.
Okay.
Up to you.
I do agree with the evaluation because of that reason. Probably not like to score, but of course, schools need to use them for scoring. But I think that especially comment section, it's very valuable for us. Sometimes, of course, some students just are, they are only angry or they just want to tell you something, and that's okay. That it also depends on you how you take it. But I would say that especially look for these comments that are so repetitive, especially look for these comments that, I don't know, that probably will make you change, not only, and I don't have to say that they will always make you change, no, but they will make you change your teaching, maybe in like for the good, because they also have like really, as you mentioned with Dani, like these very good opinions that sometimes we don't listen. And it's good to have them on the table, because otherwise we don't know what they are thinking. Like sometimes we only have like these ideas in our heads and that's it. But it's important to know what other people think. Yes.
Of course, of course, of course. Anybody else? 1 more minute? No? Okay, so thank you so much, Monica, for such a wonderful presentation. Could we have, do you think we could have the information of your PowerPoint so we can learn and read it and
yes, of course.
apply it?
Of course, of course. And if you want to write like straight to my email, I can totally answer. Okay. Any comment, any idea, and I will do that, Jaime. I will send you that presentation like directly to you. So if you want to share it or any other thing, that's okay. That's free.
Wait.
And this is my contact.
Monica R. Salas. @gmail.com.
Exactly. Thank you. Mónica R. Salas. Well, R. Salas, if we're speaking in English. So thank you very much.
Everybody got it? Okay. So thank you so much once again, Monica. Hope to have you with us in summer, January, February. As I said before, we will invite students from different countries so we can listen to what they have to say. Maybe the word is not to evaluate, but to comment, to express their ideas, to give us, to give food for thought, as Julio Valladares usually used to say, food for thought, food for thought, food for thought. And then we can change. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Monica, Raj, Roxy, Isabel, Sally. Hope to have you with us next Sunday. Miss Judy, hope to have us with us in the following meetings. Thank you, Ruben. So many books to read, so many books to read. Judy in Germany, Tito in Ecuador, Leticia in Mexico, Daniela, my student in Piura, and Tania, I guess it's in Piura. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye. Good week.